hiru hiru you go.
Hi everyone, Jennifer Lico here with a Celtic Journey episode number 4. And today I want to start off talking about party favors. Yes, you heard me right, party favors. So you remember when you were a kid and you would go to a birthday party, and one of the most exciting things was to come home with a party favor. Well, many of you know that I live in Brazil now, and let me tell you, party favors are huge. You get them not only at kids' birthday parties, but you also get them at adult parties. You get them when you go to visit a new baby in the hospital. You get them when you go to any type of event, and they're still really fun. We are still really excited about the party favor. But in Portuguese, they're called lembranças. And I just think it's the most beautiful word because lembranças actually translates to memories. And what a great little gift to go home with a little memory of your time at that party. And I mean, we all know it's just a token of appreciation for spending time with the person you went to visit or the person who hosted the party. And it's a really beautiful sentiment. So with my Celtic Journey episodes, I want to always give you memories, or actually, I call them bonuses, but maybe lembranças does sound nicer. So today we're on part 3 of the final series on Scots Gaelic that I promised. In part 1, we talked about just being aware of the language and how you can easily use it in your life without learning it. And your lembrança was a set of 18 free images of Scotland with Gaelic expressions or sayings on them. Part 2 was all about how to start learning Scots Gaelic in a very simple and fun way. And the lembrança was a free handy start guide for learning Scots Gaelic with simple things like numbers, days of the week, the weather, and so forth. So today, we're in part 3, and we're going to talk all about traditional Scots Gaelic music. And the lembrança is a small Scots Gaelic song learning tutorial for you to download and keep. I wanted to add value to your experience with me. If you're listening or you're watching this, it's because you and I share a similar love and passion for the Celtic culture. I know how good it feels when I'm connecting through Celtic music or history, the dance, and the language. So I really want to value pack your life with as much of that as possible. This is the reason I'm doing these episodes, and this is the reason I'm giving you lembranças, and I hope you will take advantage of them. And I also hope you will email me to let me know what you would like for me to add to these episodes. So let's dive in and talk about traditional Scots Gaelic songs now. My favorite thing to talk about. Music holds such an importance in history, and it provides us with a great deal of insight about how life once was and things that actually happened. So I want to talk about the traditional Scots Gaelic songs from the 1700s, before the Gaelic started to diminish and before the Battle of Culloden, before the Highland clearances, back when Scots Gaelic music, it was a part of their everyday experience in work and in play. It was really an integral part of their day. This type of music really preserved the history of the Highlanders in the 1700s. I don't know if you can hear the enthusiasm in my voice. I just get so excited talking about this. Okay, so you can kind of categorize these traditional Scots Gaelic songs into ballads, laments, work songs, and mouth music. So we're kind of going to break that down. I really don't want to talk too much about ballads and laments because they don't really require too much explanation. Let's talk about work songs first. Most of you already know what work songs are. It's basically songs that were sung while you were working. Work songs are normally simple songs in a call and response fashion that were sung during the work of the day, whether it be churning, milking, rowing, and walking. When the tweave is newly woven, it is really loose and not very windproof. And since Harris tweed is supposed to be able to stop a Highland gale, the cloth needs to be worked to plump up the fibers and shrink the weave. So traditionally this was done by soaking the cloth in stale urine and then sitting around a table, pushing, pulling, and pounding the cloth around in a clockwise motion until the fibers shrank. The whole process could take hours, and you might imagine it was tiring, boring, and above all, a bit smelly. And singing while you worked helped pass the time. These walking songs also helped everyone keep on the same beat during their work. The walking songs usually took the form of call and response, with one person singing the verses while everyone joined in on the choruses. Also in Scotland, a walking was exclusively done by women, so a lot of the lyrical content had a lot of teasing and fun songs about your sweetheart and a little bit of gossip.
Hey, my London, ho, my London, share my London on Fairwood. Hey, my London, ho, my London, share my London, Gaelic column, sword and dirty clutcherwood. Hey, my London, ho, my London, share my London on Fairwood. Hey, my London, ho, my London, share my London on Fair down a hooked, falls on Teichul. Hey, my London, ho, my London, share my London on Fairwood. Hey, my London, ho, my London.
Okay, so there you have it. I've just sung for you the bonus, and the bonus is a Scots Gaelic singing tutorial. This is just the final end product of the bonus, but actually the bonus itself, when you download it, it's a slower version of the song. I've done it in a repetitive nature so that it's easier to match the phonetics and the rhythmic feel of the Gaelic. I've included an audio file to learn and an audio file to practice with, the Gaelic lyrics and the translation, and the notated melody for those of you who read sheet music. So all of that is included in the free Scots Gaelic singing tutorial. Just opt in by clicking the link below this video. I'm just going to take one moment to let you know that if you are a teacher or if you know a teacher, I have an entire lesson plan available for free to give to any teacher who wants to teach their students about Scottish walking songs. And I got to tell you, if you're a teacher, you're really going to want to get your hands on this. It's got the entire scripted out lesson plan. It includes the national standards, the audio files to use in the classroom, so you don't need to even think about teaching Gaelic. The lyrics are included, the sheet music. There are images you can use in the classroom. There's a support team, so if you have a question about something or you kind of want to do something different, you can reach out to the support team and they will help guide you through the whole thing. And the review at the end of the lesson is actually using the categories from the PYP program. And if you're already familiar with that style of teaching, then you're really going to love the review. And we've also included some extra resources on walking songs. For every lesson plan we create, we like to add some extra resources just in case you want to go even further. To grab that free lesson, you can just go to highlandechoes.com and click on education, or you can just follow the link underneath this video that says free Scottish music lesson plan. So now let's talk about mouth music. Mouth music in Gaelic is called pushtabiol, which literally means music of the mouth. Okay, so pushtabiol has a number of distinctive features which really make it stand out from just standard singing. It's primarily used as a rhythmic form of a song, primarily for dancing. So the words are chosen for their rhythmic qualities and the patterns of the sound that they make. So I get this question all the time, are you singing real words? Yes, in mouth music, you're using real Gaelic words. But a lot of times they sound so repetitive and they become more like tongue twisters than anything else. And combine that with the fact that in Pushtabul you use a lot of vocables as well, and vocables are kind of like fa la 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 la. But the vocables that are used are actually trying to imitate the sound of the instruments. So that whole combination creates a really striking and interesting effect, and often makes people believe that you're not really singing true words. And I gotta tell you, at times it is hard to find a place to breathe whenever I'm singing mouth music. So mouth music did serve a function. The main one was to provide music for dancing. So the majority of people wouldn't be able to afford musical instruments. Now, there was also a ban on the pipes after the 1745 Jacobite uprising. And so that may have had something to do with the popularity of singing the tunes instead of playing the pipes. But combine that with the fact that many people couldn't afford the instruments, that made this a very strong form of dance music. Now, we talked about the lyrics already, but it's important to remember that the lyrics were also chosen to represent the dance steps of traditional dances. And so the rhythm is so strongly ingrained in the structure of the words that it can be used to accompany dancing, even if it's spoken rather than sung. Because I grew up with a dance background, the first time I heard mouth music, I was immediately drawn to it, and I just loved it so much. And honestly, I think it's the reason that I became even more passionate about Scottish music. It was kind of the gateway for me into learning Scots Gaelic.
Ora vana vanakin, ora vanakin a grey, ora vana vanakin, hit you dog a lovin' that, ora vana vanakin, ora vanakin a grey, ora vana vanakin, hit you dog a lovin' that, haleg, mian toba ho, haleg, mian try, ho, haleg, mian toba hit you hog a lovin' that, ho, haleg, mian toba ho, haleg, mian try, ho, haleg, mian toba hit you dog a lovin' that.
So there you have it, part 3 of our Scots Gaelic series. And this one was all about Scots Gaelic traditional songs, mostly the walking songs of Scotland, and also the mouth music, Pushtabul. I hope that you learned a little bit more about these tunes that you have probably heard before, but just didn't know why they were important or what they meant. Whenever I'm listening to any style of music, when I have a little bit of the history behind the song, I always enjoy the music just a little bit more. So I hope that this episode has added some value to your listening experience, and you'll be able to recognize the difference between work songs from Scotland and Scots Gaelic mouth music. I'd like to remind you to make sure you pick up your limbranza or your bonus for this Celtic episode. It's the Gaelic song singing tutorial, and you can opt in for that underneath this video. Lastly, I'd like to share with you some information about a nonprofit that I just started, and I am super excited about it. It's called Highland Echoes, and we have 2 different components. The first one is Highland Echoes, the show. It's a professional performance portraying the story of Scotland and the immigration to North America, in Canada and in North Carolina, through the music and dance. The second component is Highland Echoes in education. This is an online resource for teachers to have a fully curriculum integrated lesson plan on Scottish culture in their classrooms. There are actually over 20 lesson plans for art and PE, music, and social studies. It's created by teachers and administrators to meet the needs of the students, promote diversity, and preserve Scottish traditions. So the mission of Highland Echoes as a nonprofit is to preserve the culture of Scotland, and I can't tell you how excited I truly am to be doing something like this that can hopefully make a big impact on other students who feel the same connection that I felt when I started doing Scottish dance at the age of 11. So that's it for the 4th episode of A Celtic Journey. I am so excited that you have been here with me along the way. I promise there's more to come. And with that being said, Martin Leth.